the integrated actor.
The integrated actor, mind, body, text, and partner. So, Maria, fill in. We appreciate you so much.
Okay, well, so my thing is all about rehearsal, independent rehearsal. So I've asked two people to help me out, David and Hillary. So why don't you, just one of you bring your chairs and sit across from each other. This is too far away. I'm gonna get used to the space too. Yes, perfect. So they have a scene, a short open scene. And so what I'm going to just try to do in 15 minutes is give you a little bit of an overview of how I teach independent rehearsal. So it's this constant dance to me between mind and body, text and partner. And so I wrote this book in 2013 called Rehearsing in the Zone. And immediately, as soon as we started working on it after it was published, I went, oh my God, I forgot so much. So I just published the second edition, and I think I'm happier with it because with the students we've developed goals for each, what I call zone. So what I mean by zone is, you know how when students get into the rehearsal studio, they just yak away. I've given them goals for each rehearsal to hopefully get them in the zone. So the first zone is, the goal of the zone is meaning, objective, and obstacle. So what does this scene mean? What do we want? And what's the problem? So they're going to just help. They're going to help me, and we're just going to go through each zone, okay? So I'm just going to ask you guys to put your feet on the ground, look at each other, and as much as possible, keep that text close so that you can have eye contact as needed, okay? But read the script. That's what we're just doing.
Are you wearing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Nothing.
Don't you think?
Totally. Works.
But you said it.
I didn't say it.
You did.
I asked.
Does that mean?
Nothing.
Are you wearing that?
I don't know yet.
Well,
What?
I can't go.
Why?
Just can't. I decided that I can't go.
Because I just asked?
Because I don't feel like it anymore.
That's silly.
So call me silly, I'm not going.
Come on.
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
You're going?
Yes, I'm going.
But I'm not.
I got that.
But you are?
Yeah?
You're going. I'm not.
Right.
Is this okay?
Fine.
You hate it. You hate it when I do that.
Do what?
You know.
I know. I just want you to say it.
Just a second.
Just go.
Are you sure?
No. No pressure.
I really can't do this anymore.
What?
Everything.
So go.
This is it.
Bye.
Bye?
Wait.
What?
Bye. Yeah,
That's,
please.
why?
Because
Okay, so what happens in the scene? What's the first thing that happens? Are you wearing that? Yeah. So basically, they're gonna go out, right? That's the event of the scene. And who was A? I don't remember. You were A? Or you were A? You were A.
I think we.
Did you switch
switched
somewhere?
it.
I thought so. Okay. I pulled your brain.
I swear I saw.
That's okay.
I don't know how we did that.
Well,
but we did it.
yeah.
It really.
That's
yeah.
okay, that's okay. So anyways, what happens in the scene is you're both going out, A initiates, are you wearing that? And then it's tit for tat, right?
Yeah.
So then there's an interruption, and then something changes in the relationship, right? So those are like the 3 events. We're gonna go somewhere, we're arguing a little bit about what we're gonna wear, there's an interruption, and then the relationship changes and something happens at the end. So what I usually do is, and I forgot to mention this, is read it as written. So if there's no pause written, just read it like stick them at the end, okay? But the next pass we do, we'll do that. So what I'd like to do is, I want you to read it again, and I want you to pick an action. Who's A? You're gonna be A. Let's have you be A.
Yep.
And you pick a counteraction. So what could be an action? Maybe you want to go to the party alone? Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And you want him to validate you.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. So you want to go, you don't want her to go, and you want validation. So let's see if we can read it like as written,
Yep.
with only the pauses that are written in.
You wearing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's start again. Really take out the pauses. So it's conversation, right? Okay, let's do it again.
Are you wearing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Nothing.
Don't you think?
Totally.
What?
Works.
But you said
I didn't say anything.
you did.
I asked.
Does that mean,
Nothing.
are you wearing that?
I don't know yet.
Well,
What?
I can't go.
Why?
Just can't. I decided that I can't go.
Because I just asked?
Because I don't feel like it anymore.
That's silly.
So call me silly. I'm not going.
Come on.
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
You're going,
Yes, I'm going.
but I'm not.
I got that.
You are.
Yeah?
You're going, I'm not.
Right.
Is this okay?
Fine.
You hate it. You hate it when I do that.
Do what?
You know.
I know, I just want to say. Just a second.
Just go.
Are you sure?
No. The pressure.
I really can't do this anymore.
What?
Everything.
So, go.
So? This is it.
Bye.
Bye.
Wait.
What?
Bye.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's...
Please.
But why?
Because. Shall we?
Sure.
Okay, so now what I'd like you to do is put the scripts down. Put the scripts down, and we have an action and a counteraction, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to just do the scene as much as you remember. We'd established what the events are. You're getting ready, right? So zone 2, that was meeting, objective, obstacle, and meeting, right? Those 3 things. Zone 2 is about relationship to place and partner. So what I'd like you to do is let's first decide on a relationship. In a play, you would have it, the playwright would give it to you. What could this be? What is this relationship? Boyfriend, girlfriend. And where are we?
In our heart.
Okay, so let's do an improv, and I'm going to give you literally a minute, right? 1 minute, 60 seconds, to do the whole scene with the events, start to finish, in your own words, length, action, and comprehension. If you need to go get a purse, lipstick, whatever, one thing that you need, grab it. If you don't need anything, then don't grab it. And we could use, instead of our place, relationship with place. Can we close this? So you can use the door, you can use the room, you can use anything you want. And you, I'll stand over your shoulder, see where a minute is. Okay. Because I'm going to time it. Okay? Ready?
How long do we have?
We have 1 minute
1
to
minute.
do this little open improv. Okay, you have some. All right, begin. What?
You wearing that?
Yes, I'm wearing that. What, it doesn't look good? Does it show?
Really?
Oh my God, we're going out, and now I feel so insecure around you.
It's okay. You look fine.
You're not just supposed to say that I look fine. You're supposed to tell me that I look good.
You look good.
I'm not going.
Why not? Come on. Gotta go.
No, I'm not going. Oh, and then you give me the wink. No. You have to tell me I look good, and you have to mean it.
You look good.
Oh, God. I know you hate when I do this.
Let's go.
No. I'm not going. Oh, you're wearing that?
Yeah, what's wrong with this?
You're judging me for wearing this, but you're wearing that.
Come on, we gotta go.
Great. You almost got through it. It's perfect. I mean, this is so good. So now what I'd like you to do is pick up your scripts, use relationship to place and partners as it comes, as you wish. But stay with the script. If the script gets in the way, then, just keep it there so that you can kind of do a combination of, if you get off script, it's not a big deal. We don't have to do dead letter perfect yet, okay? All right? I'm going to not talk and let you do. So again, you use objects, you relationship. So if we're boyfriend and girlfriend, how do we define relationship in acting? Physically, how we physicalize with one another, emotionally, right, through the text. So if those things creep in, like as you're going to the door, how you might deal with each other if you're living together, play around with that. Just something to integrate. Did I take your script?
I think so, right? Put it in the back.
That's okay, use mine. That's fine.
Waste your time looking for it.
That's right.
You wearing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Nothing.
Don't you think?
Totally.
What?
Works.
But you said.
I didn't say anything.
You did.
I asked.
Does that mean?
Nothing.
You were that?
I don't know yet.
Well,
What?
I can't go.
Why?
Just can't. I decided that I can't go.
Because I just asked?
Because I don't feel like it anymore.
That's silly.
So call me silly.
Come on.
No.
Really?
Remember counter, action, and action.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
You're going,
Yes, I'm going.
but I'm not.
I got that.
But you are?
Yeah.
You're going, I'm not. I'm
Right.
not.
Right.
Is this okay?
Fine.
You hate it.
I just want you to say it. Just a second.
Just go.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay, I want to get to the last part. Great, you guys, really great. We're trying a lot out of you. The last part of the zone is inviting character. So these would happen over like a series of maybe 2-3 rehearsals, right? Hour and a half each. The third part is inviting character. So let's just ask the question, if I was an archetype, what would I be? Like, I don't know, what's an archetype? It's like a blueprint, right, of a character, just for the improv situation. It'd be like, throw one out.
The empty vessel that constantly needs something to
Like the needy? Needy? Okay, all right. And what about you? I feel like physically you've got it right now, whatever that is.
Just that guy, that
Yeah.
Who would be that guy?
Middle-aged guy who's.
little redneck. I mean, just,
Great. So now, how much time do I have left? A minute. Okay, go. Use the script. Just use the script and go. And you can stay on script or stay off. Just go. See what you can integrate for inviting character. Go.
You wearing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Nothing.
Don't you think?
Totally.
What?
Works.
But you
I didn't
said-
say anything.
You did.
I asked.
Does that mean,
Nothing.
are you wearing that?
Oh yeah.
Well,
What? Yeah.
I can't go.
Why?
Just can't. I decided that.
Okay, I'm going to pause right here just to kind of recap everything. Excellent, you guys. Did you see relationship? Did you see the givens? Starting to see the givens, the events, right? Did you see kind of place as we sort of established? So we're kind of working on all levels. We're sitting, we're going back to the script, we're thinking, and we're doing at the same time. So this would take a lot longer. I kind of just rushed through to give you an overview. Just 10 seconds, is it time? Okay, so how did that feel? Was anything frustrating to you in the process?
I wouldn't say frustrating. I think the hardest part was connecting that with the script.
Yes, and I would have spent more time, obviously, so that you guys knew the script and knew where those changes were, but I skipped that step because you were so good. So, because you guys kind of instinctually knew that, but yeah, I would have spent a little bit more time with like, what are the beats, improving it, and then going back to script.
I love
But
the improv part.
yeah, I know, that's why I asked you to do it, because you're like queen improv. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Sure. I love anything that can give them focus for rehearsals.
What?
I love that you can give them focus for rehearsals. I often ask them what their goals are for rehearsal, but I don't feel like I have a sort of a sequence and a sort of an idea of how each rehearsal should be unless I'm in a production. And I feel like to have this kind of structure is really helpful. Really fantastic. Thank you for this. A very good explanation of what it was. I was a little confused. So you said, maybe I'm just not listening. You said number 3 was inviting character. I was unsure, is the first step just the read through, nothing going on, right?
No character.
Okay, and then the
Meaning,
second,
objective,
so the
object.
second step would be introducing
Relationship
action.
to place and partner.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
gotcha, okay, that makes
Yeah, I was
that makes sense.
fast.
I was just a little fuzzy about
Yeah.
where these sort of stages are. It makes
And
sense.
1 week would be, one rehearsal, 90-minute rehearsal would be on the first zone, another 90-minute on the second zone, and probably the third would be, if
Oh, no,
they
right.
achieved 1 and 2, then we go on to
Then
3.
you go on to that. Yeah, no, I think that's.
So it builds on itself.
Yeah, it's really lovely. I love the improvisation to get them to be moving around and just work through it. I liked how you asked about after the inviting character, and that the character is very simple. It's just like what's the first burn archetype, whatever, so that they can start playing with that idea before they like write down a bunch of crap, that they might not do anything with, And then the idea that you're like, so now we're seeing givens and relationships based on the behavior that they're creating versus a sort of textual analysis and just textual analysis kind of thing, which I imagine you can sort of marry with this as well, right? So that they inform each other. But yeah, no, this was fantastic. This is really lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll echo what Dennis has said. And also, I really appreciate the structure, the scaffolding of it, right? Because it's very clear and clearly progresses to where you ultimately would like them to end up. And yet you have all of these kind of fail-safes that are built into it. And I really love that. I really appreciate that a lot. Because that one, it excites me on two levels, right? One, as an artist myself, right, as an actor and a director, but as an educator, and as a facilitator, it's almost like swimming in both streams, right? So I think that that's really fantastic. I think, it's always a little bit of a disadvantage in the adjudicated acting exercises when you have the challenge of working with experienced actors who are somehow, because of where they are at, themselves and what the craft that they bring to an introductory level exercise, they start to get a little bit ahead. And so, that was really interesting to see what David and Hillary's first instinct was in terms of integrating, embodying, and personalizing the text, but they were actually ahead of the exercise. So that specification really helped me to understand and appreciate really how this exercise works, or this sequence of exercises works on so many levels at so many levels in terms of the trajectory of a rehearsal process, but also in terms of building upon where an actor is at the moment and where they are progressing in their own growth and development as an artist, and I really appreciated that. One thing that I think I missed, and I think I just, maybe didn't hear, in Zone 3, in Inviting Character, were they playing them through archetype? Or was the archetype a means to kind of help shape?
Yes, it was an invitation to start exploring who this person is physically through behavior. And they may throw that archetype out.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of pre-rehearsal homework where they get some answers from the script that what these archetypes could be. The martyr, or the wise sage, or whatever it is. But yeah, so it was definitely a rough, like I kind of crammed it all in. I wanted to give an outline.
Of course.
But
yeah, you're taking a huge amount of work and condensing it into
but I
a
think
short
it's
period of
important because of that reason, is that students have asked me, they needed structure. In the first edition of the book, I didn't give this kind of structure, and I learned from them what was needed.
Yeah. One of the things that I also really appreciated was that there's a parallel learning happening, right? When you identify the events of the scene, separate from the text, right? Because I think so often students think it's about memorizing the text and then discovering through the text and missing the kind of skeletal structure that's inherent within the text, and that the text becomes a vehicle for those events. So I really appreciated the way those kind of dovetailed with each other. Yeah.
And I do want to give credit. I did a workshop with Sharon Kernicki, and she talks about active analysis and action, counteraction, and that actually really integrated into my work so beautifully. So I have to mention that.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So this